And we're rolling with another episode of the podcast. Justin Barlow, Rock and Randy coming at you. Coming off of PPW307 and 308. Back-to-back tapings, Friday and Saturday. All you out there on Patreon, our $3 and $5 subscribers, you guys are going to get to see those matches from Friday night. $3 is going to get you two of the matches from Friday. $5 is going to get you the whole thing, and then both tiers, you're going to get the Iron Man between Tim Castle and Not Bad Chad from the next night of PPW 308.
It's busy.
So, pretty sweet deal.
Very sweet deal. So we don't have to recap nothing. You could go to our social media. Chances are you've gotten to our Patreon. You've been to our social media, so you're caught up on the deets of what happened. Why don't you go ahead and touch upon what is going to be happening Saturday?
This Saturday night. Well, you made the announcement yourself at the close of this last Saturday. Jose, who retained his title over Pancho.
Do you know why I made that announcement myself?
Do tell.
Well, I thought you knew, but anyway. Storytelling. Getting to the point. The in-ring. Okay, our guys can wrestle. That's indisputable. Indisputable. These fucking guys can wrestle. Got a talented ass roster. But let's say on Facebook, we're doing good. We're doing good on YouTube. They don't give a shit about my guys' promos, and some of them can promo, some of them can't promo. So I don't have that kind of time, and that's the difference between us and other areas. Is on one hand we don't have World Wrestling Entertainment's media outlets. On the other hand, we have to promote every week. Every week I got to come up with some creative ass shit, and figure out which guy is different and who can carry out what. So that's what I did, was just grab the bull by the horns and just told the story for this week.
Mm-hmm. So this Saturday it's going to be Jose putting the belt on the line against Tim Castle. I am looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. It's never, we haven't done that yet.
No.
Even during Corona Mania.
Yeah, and especially not 2 out of 3 falls.
Nope.
Two
guys that can wrestle. I mean, unbelievable how Jose has been coming along the last year. Has been amazing for him. And also, the last year and change that Tim Castle's been in this shit too. Really coming along for a green guy.
Oh, hell yeah. And then you have to look at both guys' specialties. Jose, obviously, we always talk about the educated feet. One of the best, if not the best, strikers, kickers in the company. And then Tim Castle, one of the best, if not the best, mat grappler in the company. That guy pulls submissions out of everywhere. It's amazing.
It's got a ways to go, as they both do, but they both know that. They're very humble at the same time.
Yeah. They're not full of themselves. Jose is still the same Jose he was before he wore the belt.
Listens intently, wants to learn, stimulated by listening, stimulated by different styles, stimulated by different situations. Hard work, i.e., I hear people say all the time, oh, he's your favorite, or, they worry about playing favorites, and, in the history of the business, it's always been about favoritism and nepotism and all that other happy horseshit, but my favorite is the guy that works the fucking hardest.
Yep, and always has been.
Yeah.
So today, you want to talk about someone who's been really important to you, not just in your career, but in your life. It's been almost a surrogate father at times, and that being handsome Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Woogie Man.
Yes, he and Luke Williams, I can credit for a lot of shit, teaching me in the business and teaching me about being a man, teaching me what to do, teaching me what not to do. And at the end of the day, it all spills in together. The way I do things here is the way I do things in my life. Nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to lie about. I don't live my life to where I have to lie about anything, cheat, or steal. Handsome Jimmy Valiant. So I break into Memphis, Tennessee. I go down there by myself, I want to say 88, I'm going to go ahead and say 89. I don't know. It was a very ballsy move, man. Very ballsy move. A guy right before I got there was doing kind of the same gimmick I was, which is like a hairband gimmick, but a hairband heel. Name was Sean Baxter. And I knew this going down there, but there was a group of guys that were ribbers. Billy Joe Travis, outstanding fucking performer. the Youngbloods, Chris and Jay, and a couple more, but also Gary Young, gorgeous Gary Young, another unsung hero in the sport who worked a lot of territories but made his bones working in world class for Fritz. So before I go down there, I hear this story about where they, and the boys used to do this, is very common. Today you can't get away with it. I mean, I can only imagine the repercussions of today. There's a drug called Halcyon. Maybe they changed the name, I don't know. But Halcyon, if ingested, puts you the fuck out, you know? And when you think about it, I mean, they really took chances in doing so, but it was the roofies of the 80s, roofie of the 80s, was Halcyon. So Sean Baxter goes out with the guys, and they slip Halcyon in his drink. He woke up the next day, and again, he had the big Bon Jovi-ass hair like I did. His hair was shaved back like Gallagher.
Oh, shit.
He was out by the pool, roasting in the sun, and in permanent marker, they wrote, "I hate pigs, I hate cops," shit like that. They put a brush up his ass and painted his dick black with shoe polish and then called the police.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, you know, whatever. The more I know, like, for example, Billy Joe Travis, this kid might have fucked up. He might have had it coming. I know that's extreme. I'm not saying I would participate in shit like that, but that's the business that it was. You fucked up. You had to learn your lesson. You had to learn your lesson the hard way, you know? So I hear this, and I'm going down there alone. You know what I mean? I went down there alone. So that's what I'm saying, is it's a ballsy fucking move. I have been on my own since right before my 15th birthday, and I've seen a lot, you know. Wrestling's a little different. Then was a little different. I'm not going to say this today. But then half of your guys in wrestling were bad motherfuckers. 1/10 of your guys in wrestling were some of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet in real life. Because they used to take a bad motherfucker and make that bad motherfucker prominent. For believability. It did the business good. People look in the ring and go, there's absolutely no way I can beat the shit out of or even stand my ground with a Bob Orton Sr. Bob Orton Jr. You know what I mean? For example. So, I had to fucking watch my P's and Q's, and you have to stop and ask yourself, because you do think about no fucking showing, how much do I love this shit? You know what I mean? So I get there. The first few days I was there, I kept to myself, eyes in the back of my head. First one there, you know what I mean? Low profile, watch shit, you know? Not having no hassles. The first person to notice it was Junkyard Dog. I told you that story before, and I've said it on Patreon before. That was fucking cool. So Boogie and Dog were in there at the same time. It was like the crossover. Dog was going somewhere else. Boogie was making a comeback. And I knew Handsome Jimmy Valiant. I mean, I was a big fan of Valiant, man. I mean, most memorable heel. The first time I turned on the UHF channel, Handsome Jimmy Valiant was on his knees with blood pouring out of his fucking head into that beautiful platinum blonde hair, shaking his head no, begging Dick the Bruiser not to continue whooping his motherfucking ass. You know what I mean? When it was the Valiant brothers versus Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher. I mean, here I am in fucking Memphis seeing this guy. And I'm not going to sell that shit. You think I want my dick painted fucking with shoe polish and a brush up my ass? I don't know what these people are capable of. You know what I mean? But Boogie never gave off any kind of vibe like that. But that being said, I've been down there, 3 weeks. Saw me with the dog, you know, and I'm still handling my business the same fucking way, you know. And Boogie comes up and fucking says, hey, man, I'm an older guy, I'm a veteran. I'm like, you fucking gotta tell me. But I can't oversell. You know what I mean? And he asked me if we could run the roads together for the sake of his fucking peace and mental stability, you know? What the fuck am I going to say to that? I'm going to say, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I was a heel, he was a face, we had the kayfabe, but a lot of that was really cool because, you know, at the first time, and we stay in different rooms, and I would meet up with a heel right before the town and ride in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And same thing when we left, you know what I mean? It was cool as fuck, man, you know, and I learned so much, about Boogie. He's not a guy that will fucking. He's not gonna soft soap anything, but he's such a positive guy, and he will laugh at his mistakes. He'll also admit to his mistakes, and that was a very rare thing then, and it's a probably even more rare thing now. You know what I mean? He'd say things to me like, "When you fall in love, okay, in this industry, don't screw around with the pretty rats. Trust me, I know." You know what I mean? Fuck around with the. I'm not going to go into detail. I don't think I should. But anyway, because he lost everything to that shit. Now, he didn't lose everything. Nobody took his ass to court. He had made so much money in the industry, dude. You would not believe the money they were making in this industry in the 70s. Unbelievable. Boogie had a place, I want to say Cal City, Cal Park, somewhere out there when those were really nice fucking suburbs. I mean, your mafiosos lived out there. People with real money lived out there. And Boogie had the house with the swimming pool, the tennis courts, the fucking Cadillacs, right? First wife caught him cheating. Caught him fucking cheating. And he left her everything. He took $250 in his gym bag and walked away. And he knew he fucked up and felt terrible about what he'd done. But that's the type of guy that he is, and he made his amends. He fixed everything. But he didn't dispute shit. He didn't dispute shit, and he really tried to make it up to his daughters. And I don't know all the history there. What I do know is that in the 90s, I used to go meet Boogie at Rhonda's, and I forget the other daughter's name because I'm old now, for Thanksgiving, and they just adored their father. They adored their dad. And, Boogie is just an amazing guy, there's nobody in this fucking industry, even today when I watch it, is not influenced by this motherfucker. You never seen charisma like this guy has. He's got this aura about him. And I'm trying to call him right now. There it is, he might answer. I like to do things impromptu, if you couldn't tell.
I think our patrons like it too. We've gotten comments on that.
Like what?
Good comments.
Like what?
They like how it seems more off the cuff and less scripted.
Oh, fucking scripted. He might not answer, he might not be home, but I wish I could get just a second with him for you guys, because he's the shit. Anyway. So I want to say, somewhere in the 70s, there were territories. There were territories all over the fucking place, and there were 80 territories in our country, and all the guys worked all the territories. Everybody got along. There was a respect between promoters. There was a respect between the businesses. And Boogie, just an example, I want to say it was 74, 75, I don't know. Handsome Jimmy Valiant and his brother, Johnny Valiant, were feuding with Bill Dundee and Jerry the King Lawler, okay? Monday night, Justin, overselling the Mid-South Colifucking-Seum.
On a Monday night.
On a Monday night. This run went on for fucking ever. So Boogie and Johnny were so over for Vince Sr., they were so over for so many other territories, but the ones that paid you the best then were Jerry Jarrett and I forget the name of the company, CWA, USWA, and Vince Sr., the WWWF. Jimmy's deal with Jerry Jarrett then, and this was before the bullshit I was telling you about, was $5,000. It was to wrestle only Memphis. And then he was to get a couple thousand or 3,000 per shot after Memphis. And Jerry had to throw in a nice house for him and his family to stay in while he was there.
Not bad. Good money for the 70s.
So Boogie got pissed off and left the territory because Jerry was supposed to remodel the bathroom at his expense and it wasn't done proper. So he quit. You see what I'm saying? Handsome Jimmy Valiant was fucking royalty down there. If you get the opportunity and you have the time, I'll send you the links. There was a I don't know if it was an album or some 45s cut back in the day. Handsome Jimmy and also Jerry the King Lawler have 45s, and they performed songs that Jimmy Hart wrote. Huh. I'm not fucking bullshitting you, man. You got to see this shit. It's Son of a Gypsy. And if you can, play it at some point during the podcast, because Jimmy is fucking amazing. Like, this motherfucker, he loved Bob Seger. You know, Jimmy's like a cross between a biker, a fucking philosopher, and fucking Bob Seger. David Allan Coe. You know what I mean? Country. I mean, he's the shit. He did this fucking unbelievable, energetic song. You gotta fucking hear this shit in one cut, one time. Even the pros didn't do that shit. And when they recorded this shit, they were doing it with pros in a pro studio. You know what I mean? You'll hear this song, but you'll lose your shit and can't believe he did it in one fucking take, one cut.
Yeah, send me the link. I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. There was a time when I was trying to merchandise Memphis. You know, I love Memphis. And at one point, when Corey was alive, I wanted to partner up and run some towns, you know, because I knew that they still had the TV, but nobody was running fucking towns. You know what I mean? So I bought the domain name MemphisWrestlingTV.com and found a bunch of merchandise, and these songs were not patented or trademarked, so I wanted to push those things, but make sure Lawler and Handsome got a percentage of the sale, or the upload, or the download, or whatever you kids call that today. You know what I mean? Shit like that, man. It was unfucking believable. And this motherfucking song is getting airtime on all of the fucking radio stations in the goddamn area, especially Memphis.
Huh.
You know what that fucking time was worth back then? Do you know the musical roots that are in Memphis, Nashville, the Mid-South? You couldn't escape Son of a Gypsy by Handsome Jimmy Valiant.
That's something.
Yeah, man, unbelievable, you know? Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I know he and Johnny, they went into the Hall of Fame in like '96, so they at least got their
96 was it?
They got their proper respect. At least by industry standards. You know, there's so many Hall of Fames, but
Wasn't that one of the first, or the first?
I think the first was '94. That's when they inducted Andre.
Oh, okay.
A year after Andre passed.
Well, here's the story for you. So, Boogie had taken me under his wing and liked me as a human being, you know. If Boogie don't like you, he's not gonna... I only seen him go after somebody once, and that was one of the Predators fucking with me when I was a kid. If Boogie don't like you, he's just gonna write you off. He'll be cool with you and stuff when he sees you, because cordial, because he's a pro. But, man, I got in his skin, you know what I mean, as he got in mine. The influence is unbelievable. People just... So many stiffs loved me because I was known as Boogie's boy, Boogie's son, Boogie's friend, Boogie's fucking surrogate son, you know? What the fuck, where were we going? Oh, yeah. So, I fucking, you know, was right in between something at the time. Handsome used to love that song, Baker Street. You know that song?
Yeah. I love that song.
So, Boogie would say, brother, listen. I want you to hear this part of the song. This is me, man. I done it all. I don't have to do no more. You know, I met my angel. I love my angel. And Angel, he really loves her. They've been together for fucking 30 years plus, you know. 35 years? Angel and Boogie have been together forever. And she is a fucking angel, Justin. You would love her. She's, sweetest person. So, he says, this is it. I'm done with fucking fuck around with the business, and I don't need no... I've done it all. I don't need to fucking be a big star no more, that kind of shit. He says, that's me. He got this dream about buying some land. He gonna give up the booze and the one-night stand, and then he'll settle down. You know what I mean? So Angel had a property out in Shawsville, Virginia, right outside of Roanoke, right on the foot of a mountain, and that's what Boogie wanted to do. He wanted to raise fucking goats. He said, brother, you all gonna, I hear from you and shit, you hear from me and shit, but man, I'm gonna be a goat farmer, man. You know what I mean? And the funny thing about it is he talked about these goats for 2 years before he did it. Once he got them motherfuckers, man, goats are a bitch. He was so funny. Like he tried everything with the motherfucking goats. He wasn't gonna give up on the goats, man. He did this shit himself, not knowing nothing about goats, not reading no books about goats. There wasn't no motherfucking internet about goats. You couldn't Google raise motherfucking goats. This motherfucker tried everything. Man, I think what I gotta do, like, my males are motherfuckers, man. Motherfuckers. What I'm gonna take them to the veterinary. And when I take them to the veterinary, I'm gonna get them fixed. And that'll fix all my problems. I never heard of that, like nobody fixing goats, you know what I mean? But anyway, within a few years, man, Boogie's like, man, fuck goats. Then he tried rationalize keeping the motherfucking goats. And he's like, yeah, man, goat poop. I bet goat poop is real good for fertilizer. I grow my crops, brother. My garden, brother. And then Boogie fucking put the goat turds down and killed everything. Like, goat shit is the worst fertilizer. It kills everything. Man, these motherfucking goats, man. What happened to the goats, brother? Man, let's not talk about the goats. I gave them away. God bless them goats, man. But that's Boogie. But he's such a funny motherfucker because I'm not kidding. Like, I'm saying it like a joke. This motherfucker was emotionally invested in them motherfucking goats and the whole idea. And he get fucked for 2-3 years trying with this shit, losing money, losing time, losing tears, losing frustration. But he makes the best of it. You know what I mean? And that's fucking Boogie, Well, at least I got stories, brother.
I like that. I gotta adopt that. At least I got stories.
He does too, man. So he wrote a book, and you have to, if you're a wrestling fan, you gotta look that shit up. He's on Facebook, always pimping. Follow Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. His book is amazing. He's amazing. His stories are amazing. You know what I mean? He's at brushes with so much greatness, but he's not an egomaniac. He's never been an egomaniac. He can walk into any locker room. So anyway, we're talking about the induction, a Hall of Fame induction. So, Boogie was the first one to tell me, brother, now, and this is serious, like the serious side of Boogie. He can be real serious and endearing, man. I mean, when he loves you, and when he says he loves you, he means he loves you, And Boogie told me when I got there to work the opener, get cleaned up, and get back out there and watch everything. Get a notebook, watch everything. He told me then that the business goes in cycles. The business is about to change. And you are going to see things that you've never seen before and you will never see again. And that information is going to be very, very valuable. That's why we do what we do today and have any kind of traction whatsoever, Justin. Boogie was good at teaching me, showing me how to watch, okay? But watch everything around me in the process. I was sober, so I take in as much as I possibly can. I would handle my business, then I would go out with my girlfriends in the towns and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? But business came first. And I asked a lot of questions, and I asked pertinent questions. When you ask the right questions, you're not being annoying. Boogie taught me that. You know what I mean? History. I wanted to know everything about my industry. You know what I mean? Not like well, maybe I will write a book now, but then I wasn't thinking about that shit. I was thinking about learning. Man, what I learned down there, I learned more watching than I've told stories before in the past than Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett's son, So, Boogie's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. A couple of ideas that you don't know about. One of them was this. We were in Memphis with the Soul Taker, who became Papa Shango, and the Godfather and all that shit. And Bear is the shit, man. He's the shit. Charles, a great motherfucker, great person, He came out as Papa Shango, and sadly, that gimmick became silly, right?
Yeah.
But fucking before that, it terrified the fuck out of people. I remember them showing videos of kids almost crying, or maybe kids crying out of fear of that motherfucker, how he looked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that was the music, too. That music was creepy as fuck.
The whole thing was unbelievable. I can remember a time they turned the lights off after he beat the shit out of somebody, give him his finish, or cast a motherfucking spell on the bitch. and then they turn the lights back on and his boots are on fire.
I remember that.
You know what I mean? So that shit had a lot of legs because Vince was the first one in wrestling to have the resources and really go that distance with shit that we all wanted to go through to get stuff over. So Boogie always had his lifelong friends. One of his best friends was Gorilla Monsoon. This is somebody that people still don't know that much about. The star power of a Gorilla Monsoon, the star power of a Boogeyman, the star power of a Bruno Sammartino. You heard of these motherfuckers, but they mean much more than anybody in your lifetimes, in your adult lifetimes. Anybody, including Rocky, fucking Austin, and Hulk Hogan. Honest to Christ. So, Gino Monsoon was his name. I don't know. What's
Gino Morella.
Morella, yeah. Morella.
Robert Morella, but everybody called him Gino.
I don't know why. Gino was a stiff motherfucker. And Boogie had just settled down with Angel. And I was like, Boogie, man, but listen, one more run. Brother, settle down. Quiet little town. Please handsome. What you got, brother? I go, I'm thinking about talking to Gino about this. They got that Papa Shango shit. Now, Boogie had a beard down to his waist, hair down to his middle of his back. I says, you should be, and Boogie will tell you one of his biggest influences and who did for him what he did for me was the guy called the Grand Wizard.
Oh, yeah. Arguably one of the greatest managers of all time.
There are so many old timers, but Boogie in particular, that credit the Wizard for teaching them so much. So much. It's a shame that guy never gets no honor anywhere because he must have been real tight with Senior. But anyway, I says, you should come out like motherfucking Merlin, man, and you manage that motherfucker as a wizard or the Wizard. Huh. Can you imagine? Because Boogie could talk. If it's heel, if it's baby, can you imagine? But by the time and Gino was intrigued. Gorilla was intrigued. A stiff motherfucker listened to me, looked at me like I got a third eye. Who's this fucking kid? You know what I mean? I said, I'm going to pitch it next time I see him. But he listened, And the motherfucker gave me an answer. He said, is Handsome willing to do something like this? And I'm like, I swear, man. He says, fuck, they're going to kill the gimmick off. It's getting silly now. Then Handsome contacts me out of the blue when he started his school. The first student he had looked like me, long hair and good looking and all that shit. These are Boogie's words. Boogie wanted, he thought I was pretty. He thought I was really, really pretty by industry standards. And I guess I was, and he saw, because I looked like I was 17 when I was 30, or 17 or 14 when I was 27 or 25, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said that he wanted to put me and this kid together, make us bikers, okay, and call us Hell's Kitchen. He pitched it to Vince, okay? Boogie would come out on the tricycle. He was just going to call himself Papa. He was Papa of Hell's Kitchen. And we were going to follow him on a trike on Harleys. You know what I mean? It was a great idea, and Vince was on the ropes, but, whatever, it didn't happen. But it did happen a few years later, didn't it?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's like, brother, imagine that shit, man. The fucking beautiful Harleys in the buildings, the auditoriums. We're going to get over, baby. You could work. You carry this shit. You a pretty motherfucker. You know what I mean? Then what finally happened was 92, I met Patrice. And when I met Patrice, I was seeing a handful of women. I was between trips. I met Patrice right after World Class closed down and something in Dallas popped up which was semi-unholy called Global. I don't remember.
Global Wrestling Federation?
Maybe. Joe Pedicino was involved with it. Joe's cool, was cool. He had a decent reputation. But there were some real unfucking scrupulous motherfuckers tied to that shit. You know what I mean? I had a place to stay in Dallas, and a lot of people would come in on their own dime and work Dallas TV, you know what I mean? Which was Global I don't remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is, I said, I'm not like the rest of these fucking marks. I got an offer. I'm not coming down there on my own dime and shit. You know what I mean? So, Sean Waldman was there. X-Pac, Six-Pac, 1-2-3 kid.
Yeah.
And this is funny. It was a dive from the ring from the top of the ring post to the podium. They wanted somebody to do that where they cut the interviews, and they knew I could do the shit, you know, which is funny because Wallman, who was the whatever the fuck for high flying shit, couldn't make the dive. So they're like, okay, here's what we'll do is we'll fly you in. We'll pay your airfare. I'm like, well, I'm not going to come down there and be a mark for you motherfuckers. Plus, I want to go to Memphis and work every night again. You know what I mean? So I didn't go. But anyway, I meet Patrice and in between road trips, and I knock her up. And I'm like, huh,
And for you guys listening, Patrice is the ex-wife he routinely speaks on.
Yeah. So I knock her up, and I'm kind of torn because there's nowhere to go. Jerry Jarrett says we're running 2 or 3 nights a week and paying the guys $30. There's Vince, there's WCW, but WCW is kind of sold up. Now I knock this girl up. I got to do something. I got to do something quick, because that's what I do. I'm not even going to say it's Catholic shit, and I'm not going to ever regret it, but that was the right thing to do, was to, take care of her. A baby's coming, all bets are off, So I started a business to support us, and that was that telemarketing fundraising business to business, and it fucking boomed, So in the middle of this boom, Boogie calls me and says, brother, I understand where you're at now and all that shit, and have you made a decision which one you're going to focus on? This is like 92, 93. I sent my shit in 93 only because Sergeant Slaughter called me and said the company wanted to see my shit. Justin, this is a shoot, this is the truth. And I was like, yeah, sure, send my shit, get the second call. Hey man, yours is 1 of 30 out of 300 that's up for a second viewing. We're all going to get together and vote on who's coming in, but I just want to tell you, you're the smallest motherfucker, and I can't believe your tape is in there, because of your size, but you can work. Thanks a lot, that means something. My business is going. He called me at my work, I thought somebody was ribbing me. Sergeant Slaughter's on the phone. Go fuck yourself. Who is this? So Boogie says, now's the time. I want you to come with me. Robin and Rhonda are going to come with me as daughters. And I told Gino, you were going to come with me. What we're going to do is come in a day early and stay a day late, and we're going to stay at Gorilla's house. You're going to get over with Gorilla. He has all the juice with Vince. You're going to get over with him because you're you, and now's the time if you want that fucking push. And because of what I had on my plate, dog, I said I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Looking back, I should have anyway. I should have, but I didn't really know how to run a business. Anytime I left, even for a fucking weekend or, long weekend, my business would blow up. I'd have so many problems to get back to, And I lived in the superstition of the other shoe dropping. Even though I was successful making money, we're talking about a homeless kid who lived in vans and bullshit. I became obsessed, not with money, but with losing my money. You know what I mean? And I made a bad decision. I should have gone. But anyway, the beauty parts of it are this. So this is when they start switching over to entertainment more than sports, okay? Check the fucking dates if you don't believe me. Boogie shows up in a motherfucking tuxedo, with a white tuxedo with white shorts. And all these motherfucking writers and creatives and shit in the Spunter office. Oh, Vince, Boogie's here in shorts. We told him he's got to put on long pants. And Vince laughs his ass off and says, let Jimmy be Jimmy. You know what I mean? Just love that shit, man. He's just the sweetest guy. Taught me so many things about relationships, He makes the call. He says, I said, man, I met this girl. I knocked her up, and I don't know, He goes, let me guess. She a beautiful woman with dark hair and those brown eyes, right, brother? She's small. She cute. You like cute. I'm like, man, motherfucker, how'd you know? I know you. You know what I mean? It's just a shit, you know,
God.
and everything he called. But anyway, that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, people don't pay enough attention to their fucking heritage today. And I'm not just talking this industry. I'm talking about all industries. I'm talking about personally. Nobody is born with the motherfucking answers. No one is born with the answers, you know? Get in touch with your fucking heritage. Get in touch with your fucking history, your family's history, you know, your industry's history. This stuff is all very, very fucking important. I've made so many calls based upon what I learned, things that worked out. You know, I'll never forget another thing I learned from Boogie was about ethnicity. Look at the shit, man. They had Indians or people that were portraying Indians, Native Americans. You had the Youngbloods, Chief J. Strongbow, Bobby Bald Eagle, Chief Wahoo McDaniels was a real motherfucking Indian. You had Italians, Bruno San Martino. You had Puerto Ricans, Pedro Morales. You had Mexicans like fucking, for example, the token was Tito Santana.
One of my personal favorites.
For years, you know. You had black, you had white, you had Polish, you had Irish. You know what I mean? Look at how over that motherfucker Ivan Putski was.
Yeah.
You know? So, point is that I was saying this shit back in the 90s about ethnicity, and now ethnicity will be huge because, you know, TV and all that bullshit and the countries had changed what they were watching and doing, and our influence was the time to get back to that bullshit. Well, look at that streak. For at least 10 years, Vince made how much money pushing ethnicities?
Yep.
Right after I said it. You know what I mean? I didn't say it. I said it, but I derived that shit from Boogie, listening to Boogie, talking to Boogie, and seeing. Boogie used to say all the time that his gimmick when he transferred from one of the hottest heels in the fucking industry, in the history of the industry, handsome Jimmy Valiant, the boy from New York City, to the Boogie Woogie Man. He developed that character to play to the black community and the fucking have-nots. And Boogie knew what it meant to be a have-not. That's why that gimmick was such a shoot. He was the hero of the have-not, and fuck, man. He said black-white don't make a fuck. It's have-nots versus haves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was saying this shit back then.
Yeah. Almost, I mean, it's almost spooky. That was almost prophetic. You know?
That's how Boogie was, which is so funny because he would tell you the funniest stuff and be so off the wall and then hit you with some shit that you just, wow. I mean, remember I told you the motherfucker was a philosopher. You know?
Trying to call Boogie again, see if we'll pick up.
Yeah, this ain't
time.
scheduled. I'm just hitting him up. Remember last week we called and he was going to bed.
Yeah, and that was at like...
Hi, Angel. Is Handsome available?
No,
He went night-night?
he did.
Okay, hon. You guys doing okay?
We're doing okay, yeah. Yeah, he goes to bed really early.
That's good. That's going to keep him alive another 10 years.
Yeah, well, he gets up super early, too. He gets up like at 3 in the morning, so.
Angel, do you remember the goats?
Yes, I remember the goats. How could you not remember the goats?
That was just he sold for those goats 2 years before he bought them. Brother, I'm going to be a goat farmer. Y'all never hear from me again.
He was a good farmer. Now he's just a farmer, he says.
I love you guys, Angel. I'll give him a call next week. I'll do it earlier.
He goes to bed early, so just give him a call, as soon as you can.
Thank you, hon. Thank you so much.
Okay. I'll tell him you called. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, hon. Man, I said, well, almost. They're an hour ahead of us, so he goes to bed at 6
o'clock.
Gets up at 3. So he must be, like she said, farming. He must have a hell of a garden going, you know?
Yeah.
But it's fucking great. I mean, that's the shit. This is what we talked about 30 fucking years ago. He'd been on the road for 30. Now look at the motherfucker. You know what I mean? I love it. And he can afford to do that. You know?
Yeah. Well, all the money he made, especially back in the 70s. Holy shit.
Gave it to his ex-wife, gave it to his second wife, gave it to his kids. You know, and he's provided well for Angel too because you know, he's done a lot in the meantime, you know. But
Yeah.
fuck, bro. Anyway, that I can't say enough about him as a human being, and like you said, the prolificness, you know. And sometimes, man, it would come out of the blue and stop you in your tracks because you'd be in the middle of laughing at some crazy funny shit that he did, and then all of a sudden, huh? You know what I mean? It's a great messenger of integrity, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, and I just hope I have the chance to meet him someday.
Yeah.
All the stuff you told me about him, and obviously what he's done for the business.
Yes, for individuals and for the companies, you know what I mean? Like I say, he could walk into any locker room and people just lose their fucking shit. And if you look at the guys that my thumbprint's on, even Colt Cabana, half of what the fuck he does is boogie shit.
Yeah.
If you look at Casey James, the way he sells, that's boogie shit. These fucking guys here, that's boogie shit. Boogie's thumbprint is on every motherfucker that's ever come in contact with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a huge debt of gratitude to be paid to Jimmy, because if you follow the timeline, if he hadn't done what he did for you and taught you what you know, there wouldn't be a Premier Pro Wrestling today.
No, man.
That's a simple fact of the matter. Mm-hmm. This place exists because of guys like Jimmy, because of guys like Luke.
Yeah. You know, Luke fucking Williams and Jimmy Valiant and Jerry Jarrett. But I'm going to put Boogie up there as the top one because without him, I wouldn't know how to handle certain people. You know, he taught me a lot of love and tolerance of people. You know, fuck, I don't know if I told you this. I told you this how I was stressing out. I'm not going to say a name, but
Oh, yeah.
you know, someone
Yeah.
stole
A few months ago, I remember we were talking
someone
about
stole a big money idea from me. Big money that we could have used. I could have used, you know. They stole it. Another one. But,
this. Just makes him so angry it comes out the
Oh.
other end.
yeah, see how mad I got? Hurt. No, it's hurt. That's when my anger is always a fear or a pain turned into anger. It's easy to deal with. But anyway, you know, I'm fucking with this, and I called Luke. Isn't that funny? Fuck. I just realized it was rotting my gut because I was so let down and hurt that a mutual friend of mine and a mutual friend of Boogie's hurt me. They stole my idea, you know, that I needed this money. And they stole the idea and they cast the idea before swine, and the idea got fucked up. It could have been a huge fucking earth-turning, money-making fucking idea. No bullshit. And Luke said, you knew this guy, man. You know this guy almost long as I have. He said, he's always out for him. Why are you surprised? You know? And you know what Boogie said? Everybody fucks up. Overlook it. Remember that time you fucked me? I said, oh my fucking God. I didn't know I'd hurt him. You know?
Yeah.
He said, but I love you. I don't love you any less, motherfucker. And I know you, and I know that the reason you fucked me wasn't to hurt me. But he said, life's too short. Fuck that shit. And you got a great brain. You get a lot of great ideas. There'll be others. You know what I mean? So here we are 30-something years later. You know what I mean? I just loved it.
Yeah. And that's a rare human right there. Somebody who can bring something like that up, but then say, you know, it's in the past, it's water under the bridge, I still love you to death, you know?
Man, he's just a shit. You know, okay. So, let's speak real quick on this because we're going to just 10-bell him, and I'm not going to swing from his nuts in a insincere way. But yeah, I knew fucking Kamala. I never worked with Kamala. I never booked Kamala. I've been in a lot of locker rooms with Kamala, and he's a fucking sweetheart of a guy. And that fucking, I mean, we'll talk about a fucking gimmick, you know? Okay, from Dutch Mantel's Facebook, story about the Kamala inception. Kamala started with a manager, Jimmy Hart or Buddy Wayne. He couldn't remember. Oh my God, unless you work for Buddy Wayne in this industry, you don't know shit. Fucking, oh my God. Jimmy Hart or Buddy Wayne. And the whole gig there was that Kamala would be working his way toward Jerry Lawler. Kamala had beaten several of the baby faces, and then he was booked against handsome Jimmy Valiant in the semifinal of a card at the Mid-South Coliseum. But Jimmy had an emergency which required him to be hospitalized that night. And he was unable to make the show, period, sorry. Since Kamala had beaten most of the other baby faces, the only one he hadn't beaten was me. Therefore, I became the opponent that night. You know, and that's amazing. You know, Dutch talks about, and again, I was there. I was at Jarrett's mansion. Jerry still lives in that fucking same mansion. The difference is he sold off the 50 or 100 acres below his mountain on the hill, his mansion on the hill, where he overlooks it like God. You know what I mean? That used to be all motherfucking wetland. He had and forest and beautiful property, you know? But the motherfucker had a moat going all the way around this thing. It was hilarious. So if you look at the old videos of Kamala, they were all shot at Jerry's mansion. You know? It was just outstanding shit. The gimmick was incepted because Jerry's a smart guy. Jerry's a self-taught guy. I think Jerry's also educated. But one of his favorite things, and I get it, because my grandfather was the same way, these motherfuckers would read National Geographics like a son of a bitch. And then they'd save every fucking one of them, have a collection of all of them. You know what I mean? So that's where it came from, is he was reading about a doctor who was doing a lot of good in Uganda named Dr. Kamala. So with the pictures and the bullshit, he pieced together and put together their first real fucking gimmick where they didn't have to depend on anybody else and developed it better than anybody else. And that's Jerry Jarrett and Jerry fucking Lawler. Yeah.
Well, as a kid, I remember Kamala from the old WWF. You know, when he would come out with the big mask and who was Kimchi and Harvey Whippleman.
Well,
Dr. Harvey Whippleman. He carried around the medicine bag. And,
well, he had more managers than that too. But fuck. So that kind of shows you too. So this was in the 80s. I think this was about 82, probably 82. I don't know, 80s even. The top baby face that we had one more rung on the ladder to defeat was Jimmy fucking Valiant. So remember, Jerry Lawler owned 20% of the Memphis territory, the Memphis end of the territory, and the television in Memphis. That tells you Jimmy had no stake in that shit, how over Jimmy's ass was. You know? Because all you had to do was beat him, and he was ready to face Lawler. They probably took 6 months to a year to build that whole thing up. You know? It was outstanding. Outstanding. You know? What else you got, Shlomo?
Oh, I mean, it's just...
What is Shlomo? Oh, that's just a Jewish name.
Yes, Shlomo's an old Jewish name.
Okay.
But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, somebody my age, I remember Kamala from being... What?
Jewish?
Jewish.
Are you Jewish?
Oh, I'm not, no.
No. Yeah, I knew that. I'm fucking with you.
But, no, I remember Kamala feuding, like, with The Undertaker. I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch back in the day. Here's this big 350-pounder. He'd see the casket. Ah!
It was funny because he never sold before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
and then, of course, the belly pat that he used to do.
That's the dinner bell, baby.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
They sold him as a head-shrinking cannibal, and God damn it, people believed.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, he was so limited in what he could do in the ring, but he was so much the character that you believe they pulled this guy out of where did they
Uganda.
Uganda, yeah.
Yeah.
You believe that this guy was from some far-flung tribe in the Ugandan jungle.
He played it so well, and most of what he did was on the fucking fly. And the other thing about it, he barely touched you. Even if he splashed you off the top, Justin, you barely felt it. What an amazing fucking athlete.
Yeah, truly.
You know?
Especially for one that size.
And actor, you know. If people knew then what they know now, that motherfucker should have been in all kind of movies.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, he made it to 70 years old. It's quite a feat, especially for somebody in this industry.
I didn't realize that he was only 70, and that means, can you imagine? He was a young man when he started this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a young man with a lot of stress and pressure in a business that was fucking racist.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
At least in the South it was.
Yeah. Even back in the early 80s.
Yeah, and even if they weren't racist or hateful, there was always racist undertones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I can remember someone very prominent in the industry arguing and fighting with them over Luke Williams. And I'm like, it's funny because this is somebody who was my boss, and I would barely stand up for myself or say shit about shit. But I'm fighting tooth and nail saying, no, fuck that. If it wasn't for Luke Williams, we wouldn't have this opportunity. We are not going into this thing and not making a place for that motherfucker. Well, Randy, you got to grow up, and business is business. You're going to be a promoter. You're going to be one of the boys. I am being a fucking promoter. You always told me that you're not that smart, that you surrounded yourself with people who were smarter than you. Well, that's what Luke Williams is, motherfucker. You know, Luke Williams is the best finish man and concept match man in the fucking industry and in the history of the industry. Well, since I've been alive. But anyway, I got a call the next day and said, I never realized I'm fucking racist. You're absolutely right. And we're not going to do this thing without him. You know, I was like, wow, I thought I was going to lose the deal. Or that person's involvement in it, you know. But I thought that was great, you know. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this person, I'm not going to say he was racist. He was ignorant because of the culture. You know, the climate of the culture, you know, in the South, the Mid-South, and other parts of the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck, you know. But anyway, I heard that James, you know, he made a very big deal out of that stuff and the fact of the pay gap, you know. Yeah, he should have been making at least what Boogie was making. He ain't going to make what Lawler was making because Lawler owned 20% of the gate, too. You know what I mean? But he should have been making what Boogie was making, you know. And Vince definitely should have paid him what the other top guys are making because Kamala had, I don't know how many runs for Vince Jr.
He had several.
You know what I mean? You know, it's sad if he didn't fucking make the kind of money. But one thing I did hear about Kamala when I first broke in, I was surprised. Because, you know, you're between that shit where you're a fucking worker or you're a fan. That he owned a trucking company. And that his trucking company was still operational. And his wife was a nurse. So they lived off of her nursing money. And they were saving everything from the trucking company and wrestling. Now, I don't know. Life takes a lot of fucking strange turns, so if he was complaining about money, I don't think that played out that way. But that was his intention at one point, you know. And maybe he didn't push the issue that hard because, too, you know, there's a thing between being there's a fine line between being a bitch and being humble. You know what I mean? And I think that he was just a job guy and fell in, you know, with check a fuck up your mentality, fell into that one of the most memorable gimmicks of all time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Maybe that fucked him up too when it came to the bargaining table, and he thought, well, I'm just going to save all this anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that could be.
Or live on this anyway. You know what I mean? Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's possible.
But fuck, bro. I mean, that's one of the most memorable gimmicks. You're never going to see that again, and I don't know why Vince does that. I don't even know if it's Vince. You know, Honky Tonk Man. You know, the Ugandan giant Kamala. You know, King Kong Bundy. The Bushwhackers. He don't want nobody to walk away with any kind of memorable shit. Now, I would think in the past, Vince didn't give a fuck. He'd always bring him back for something and get him over.
Yeah.
Why can't they keep the shit? Why can't they be built up into something other than, like, let's think about it? End of the day, maybe that's part of it. People would say whatever the fuck, I'm a jagoff. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, that's the most generic. What the fuck's the difference between Seth Rollins and Jerry Fox, the name I was deemed as a job guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean there. Maybe that's in part why he's not getting over like he should. You know what I mean? Because he's not.
No, he's not anymore. The and the Monday Night Messiah gimmick he's doing. I mean, and people.
It's been done.
It's been done.
He doesn't have the charisma, Punk.
Yeah, it was done 10 years ago by CM Punk with the Straight Edge Society. The difference is that Rollins is playing the character. Punk was the character.
That's what I'm trying to say, you know. Punk knew how to be a smartass because that's how straight edge people are.
Yep.
And I liked him, even though he was a smartass. That was his charm, and I knew Vince would like him when he finally got the chance to know that kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if nothing else, he had balls, you know.
Yeah.
And he had balls, but he was convicted about something.
Yeah.
You know, he was convicted,
and he didn't quit.
Yeah.
How many times did you say he sent tapes?
8 times.
8 times. He was told no.
told, no, you're skinny fat, you'll never work here, stop sending your shit.
And tenacity carried him.
Yeah. And he wasn't making no money working in them spots, those towns that you guys all love, credit him for, know him for. He was making $30, $40. If he was lucky, he'd get gas.
Yep. You
know what I mean? But he paid his fucking dues, and he refused to fucking give up, Now, again, I'm not even going to say it's sad, because he made his motherfucking money. He just realized it was turning into something he didn't think. He lost his fire for it. You know what I mean?
It wasn't what he thought it would be, but you know what? It worked out in the end. I mean, he took a few years off, and now he's got that real nice deal with. It's not with the company, but it's with Fox. But he's doing the stuff for their.
What does he do? Is he hosting or is he writing?
He's like a co-host with like Booker T, Renee Young on their on that backstage show. But that's a deal between him and Fox. It's not a deal between him and the company.
Is there some writing involved?
No, because I think I've never actually watched the show, but I think what it is just kind of, it's like WWE's version of Sports Center.
Okay. I could see him doing that for wrestling, but I'll tell you, he's a lot smarter cerebrally than people give him credit for. I don't know if he's educated or not, but I know he can write. Didn't he dick with comics or something?
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, I know he can write. I wouldn't be surprised if. I think there's something with creative writing behind it would stimulate that guy too. He's still got a lot to offer the industry, But if you don't want to perform and fucking be on the road and play the politics, fucking God bless him if you don't have to.
No.
All right, man. So let's wrap this shit up. What do we have on tap this weekend?
This weekend we got PPW309, and we talked about it before. The main event is going to be 2 out of 3 falls for the championship. Jose is going to defend against Tim Castle, and I say it again, I'm really excited to be not only watching that, but calling it.
That's going to be a good wrestling match.
That is going to be fantastic.
Keyword wrestling.
Yep. We also have another title on the line. Matt Vine is going to be doing double duty.
Love that shit.
He's got match number...
Let me go on record saying this right now. Everybody's going to be doing double duty that night. You want to know why? Except for the last 2. Except for the heavyweight match, championship match. So the playing field's level. So nobody's got nothing to bitch about. Yep. Everybody, including Matt Vine, will have worked twice that night, and the playing field will be level when he defends the Challenge Pro Cup.
Well, when you think about it, Jose and Tim, they're going to be working at least twice. It's 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
But Vine is going to be putting that Challenge Pro Cup up against Not Bad Chad, and then somebody else who's going to be determined in another triple threat match before that. Destroyer, DeMarcio, he's going to be taking on Chase and Sem.
That's basically a motherfucking handicap match.
Basically.
But let's see what kind of character he has and if he can come through that thing, and face Vine again, a second time in the night.
Yeah.
In a different scenario.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, Sem say, motherfucker. Chase Gosling, motherfucker. That's going to be a good match on its own.
Yeah, and then Vine and D are going to go at it in match number 3 of their best of 7 series.
They're tied up.
Yeah, they're tied up right now. We've seen their tempers get hot at the end of both of them. Yeah, both those first 2 matches. So we'll see who can pull out ahead.
That scenario has brought out the best in both of them and almost the worst.
Yep.
My fear is Matt Vine's worst can get real bad.
Oh yeah.
But
we've seen that.
Up to this point, he's been able to get his composure again, So God bless. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's what you got. I mean, there's more coming your way, but that's what you got to look forward to. That's on the card right now. We got that best of 7 series.
You
match.
also got Ventura.
Oh, you're right, Ventura. He threw out the challenge.
Anestra, yeah.
He threw out the challenge to Anestra.
Now it's been 2 or 3 weeks. Ventura has showed more motherfucking aggression out there in the ring, more confidence in the ring. He even got a win not too long ago. Going to be interested, and you got to give him credit for nutting up and going straight at Anestra and saying, "I want to wrestle you in singles, sir."
Yeah, and the reason that match came about is because we had a 6-man elimination tag team match. Last Saturday, it was Anestra teaming with 0-1 and 0-2 against Ventura, Eddie Cruz, and the American Beard.
Yeah.
And both the zeros, they got eliminated at the same time, so Anestra was left on his own, and he managed to eliminate everybody else on the other team by himself, the last one being Ventura.
Yeah.
But since Ventura was the last man standing, he decided, you know what, I can go toe-to-toe with this guy. I'm going to call him out.
He nutted up. You know, he nutted the fuck up.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see some surprises out of Ventura.
So you've been seeing positive shit about Patreon. Can you tell me what it is again?
The positive shit or what Patreon is?
Oh, no, you said something. I thought you said something earlier, positive comments or something about the podcast.
Oh yeah, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, not just about the podcast, but about the platform. I mean, we got that comment on Facebook yesterday. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody just said right out in the open in front of, you know, almost 7,000 people. You know, it's worth the investment. $5 worth the investment.
I had somebody a week or two ago tell me it gets them through their fucking work day when it comes out, because that's the shittiest day of the week for them, and they can have it in and hear it.
No shit, I didn't know that till now.
Yeah,
that's a morale booster.
Man. I'm not trying to. I just forget shit.
No, I know.
I'm gonna copy and paste that. No, I can't find it. I could get it. It's in the messages somewhere.
You know what,
in my messages somewhere.
You know what? Perfect timing. I've had a rough couple of days, the last couple of days, so that's really good for me to hear today on the podcast. So I'm almost glad you forgot, because that perked my spirits up.
If I remember, I'll try to find it, bro.
Yeah. And then, we got that really nice comment about Gianna singing the anthem.
Isn't that cool?
Fantastic.
Just like these guys, dude. I'm trying to get her to go out there and fucking say, hey, you got a chance to perform in front of people every week. Take advantage of that.
Yep.
You know? Next week, I think it'll be a good time to talk about this indie shit.
You know, I'm always down for that.
Well, inadvertently or no, fuck that noise. Two motherfuckers said they would put me in the ICU, Justin, because Chicago-style wrestling stole my video footage for their upcoming first show in the last 6 months. I say something, and I said it calmly. I wasn't a smartass, dude. I picked my words. They were yucking it about. I said, well, you guys could laugh about it, but I honestly think that it's sad that you don't have any production value, so you got to steal my shit. I didn't go to YouTube or Facebook and say, hey, they stole my shit. I just said that. Well, fuck, the whole afternoon, 10 retards and their girlfriends tell me what a piece of shit I am all day, and one of them threatened me. And I said, really, where do you live, Wakanda? I'm in Wakanda. Let's go have coffee, motherfucker. And somebody didn't show. Somebody didn't show up to fight the old guy.
Oh, man.
You know this?
Yeah, you told me all this.
I thought you might have seen it.
And I think this is going to be...
I'm past it now, but I stood up. I stood up like a man has to fucking stand up, 55 years old or not, you know?
Yeah, but I definitely think we should touch on that next week.
Yeah,
because that's the kind of toxic shit we always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Special thanks to Angel for being on the podcast for a second, man. Doesn't she sound sweet?
Oh, she sounds like a sweetheart.
She is
like I said, I really hope I get to meet her and Jimmy
She's a
one
fucking
day.
Southern belle, man. She's a Southern fucking belle. She's just like Boogie. Boogie's eyes, you've never seen such blue, captivating eyes. You know? She's just like him. She has angel eyes. She's his angel. 30-something years ago, he said, this one's going to work. This is the love of my life. This is why all the bullshit happened up to this point. This girl, my angel. And fuck, I'll be goddamned. You know what I mean? They've been together a long time. And does that woman sound happy to you?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Not annoyed that her husband's going to bed at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
No. You know what I mean? It's just fucking awesome to me.
Yeah. So I guess we'll take it home by first saying thank you guys for your continued support. Thank you, Handsome Jimmy, if you're hearing this, for everything you did for this guy.
Everything.
Because,
if I think about him too much, I'll bawl.
Yeah. And because, honestly, we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you. Premier Pro Wrestling wouldn't exist. And, of course, rest in peace, Kamala.
You got to go?
Yeah. I gotta get to my therapy so I can make it through another week without strangling somebody.
So one quick story. A Boogie story.
Go for it.
He was the shit. So like I told you before, man, he's like, man, I'm not fucking this up with Angel. He's talking about this shit like 2 years before they got married. I'm not fucking this up, mate. Man, I'm not gonna cheat on her like and fuck up like an asshole, you know. Be one of the boys. I'm better than that. My angels are better than my angel, you know. So he'd say, here's what we'll do, brother. It'll take me only 4 quarters, man. If you don't mind, on the way back from the gym, let's stop at that adult bookstore. I'll go in there. I swear to God, brother, 4 quarters. A handsome rub one out. I'll be good. You know what I mean? Isn't that the shit? And that's what he would do, man. He'd say, I'm all good. So during this time frame, we were staying with a good friend of mine, Tina Pinkerton, in Nashville, at the Nashville end of the territory, and I'm in the front room, and Boogie's my age then. You know, he go, brother, hurry, brother. I'm like, uh-oh, fuck, is he okay? What'd he do, fall or something? I was always afraid he's gonna get hurt and shit, you know, because then to me, 55 was fucking old, you know. I walk in, he's sitting there looking at himself in the mirror. He had fucking shaved his genitals. I said, Boogie, what'd you do? Now remember, people weren't doing this then.
Yeah.
He goes, don't I look like a baby? He goes, I shaved this shit for my honeymoon night with my angel. You think she'll like it?
Oh, fuck.
It was like that, man. It was like that with Boogie, you know?
Oh, my God.
He sells. Nobody sold like that motherfucker, man.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, say goodbye.
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap this up. Stay tuned. Another episode coming your way next week, folks. And as always, thank you again. Really appreciate all the good feedback, and keep